All right. Looks like we're good to go. Good evening, everybody. Gonna go ahead and hop on Discord here. All righty. Looks like a little feedback up there. I think that's okay. What's up, guys? What's up, everybody? Tagging everybody really quick. Oh, Jesus. What's going on? Hey. Yo, what's up? How you doing, man?
I didn't mean to watch your chart, brother.
Nice, man. Well, feel free to chime in if you see anything. And yeah, hold on one second here. Let me get everything lined up. I just was trying to tag everybody, and there's somebody named Eve, and every once in a while she gets this random alert on her phone, I'm sure, because I accidentally tagged her. All right.
Oh, you haven't got to type in everyone? Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I just type it too fast. So, all right, let me fix one thing here on my green screen really quick because it's driving me nuts.
Did you get an actual green screen?
Yeah, check me out on YouTube, dude.
I didn't see. Sure.
There we go. Perfect. Yeah, you can see my new chair, my new Secret Labs chair. It's probably it is it's pretty lit. It's what they say it is. It's definitely a really good chair. I dig it. So, all right. Alrighty. I am so I think I'm gonna do this like literally right now. And of course I'm tracking this on Google spreadsheets, but I'm gonna make a chat right now on the trading floor. I'm doing this right now. And I'm just gonna delete them at the end of the night. So that way it doesn't cloud up the chat. There's live request here. There you go. So this is where, if you guys don't mind, throw your request in there. Hopefully it lets you. There we go. Cool. Testing. Anybody else want to type in there one of those simple stackers? Popular symbols from last Tesla, Lucid, Mara, Spy, any PROG, PayPal, MA, SoFi, and Flow. No permissions. Okay, cool. No problem. I'll fix that. Just 1 second. There you go, y'all. Should be good to know. All right, cool. Good to go. Cool. All right. Yo, get out of here. Booted. Yeah, the green screen is pretty cool. I dig it. So also it's pretty lit because I can just tap the my stream deck and immediately like switch back and forth. Like if you go on live, you'll see what I just did. So it's pretty cool. I did the stream deck. So alrighty. So no more delay. I gotta quit talking here. So I gotta go ahead and open the stream charting on YouTube. Oops. My moderators want to have time. All right. This Betty White's gonna hold up my phone right now. Alrighty, so no more delay here. Gonna go over just a brief recap of today because today was not bad. Definitely one of those days where momentum started to slow, and then of course we get smacked with some comments. So we're just gonna talk about that here in a second. Jamia, Sarah, how long you been trading Jamia? Or do you own shares in Jamia? Just curious. I'm there's a picture that I think Manny posted it. So let me see. He has a picture of me basically with Photoshop with Jamia, so it's pretty cool. Alrighty, so going over today, guys. S&P up flat. Actually had a flat day. We're up nothing. NASDAQ down 0.04%. Russell down 0.45%, and the Dow 0.04%. But funny enough, if you take a look at all of them, they made decent moves to the upside before taking a decent leg a decent leg down. Definitely off of that initial reaction from that commentary. So we also have utilities actually was one sector that impressed, gaining over 1.32% as the top sector. Energy was up 0.83%, and real estate rose 0.48%. We also saw Casper Sleep. I didn't even see this one today, but they moved 88% after announcing that it will be bought by Duration Capital Management, which is pretty crazy. And if you want the link to that story, let me know. We also, I just want to briefly go over Lucid. I think this is worth having on recording for those of you watching later on. But Lucid Motors that went public via SPAC in July. Finally put out its first earnings report. The company de-emphasized financial results, which makes sense considering Lucid only started making deliveries on its first vehicle, the Lucid Air, last week. Instead, the company shared that it currently has over 1,300 customer reservations at the end of Q3, which is worth around 1.3 billion. That figure has grown to 1,700 today. And a lot of the money is yet to be made, but you also have in Q4 using its 4.4 billion worth of liquidity from its SPAC merger in July. The company continues to invest in its business. The capital will fund production, deliveries, and core operations. So Lucid also flexed that its Lucid Air won the 2022 Motor Trend Car of the Year. We haven't even made it to that year. No, just kidding. High praise for the automaker's first production vehicle. This isn't a huge surprise since the car's design has already made a lot of media praise and scored an EPA mileage certificate to name the car the longest range production EV ever. So pretty hot, and we definitely saw it rip once again. So pretty crazy. We also saw Oatly, which I don't know why they went public, but they got I was gonna say they got bitch slapped straight up. They took a nosedive today, plummeting 21% after the company cited supply chain snarls and pandemic-related obstacles weighing on growth for their milk. So the Swedish oat milk maker. They also have a bunch of other vegan brands, but I've never seen them in stores. So, all right. So, other than that, yeah, that's about it for me. So, we're just gonna get right into it. Gonna go ahead and start knocking out these charts on YouTube. And how's it going? Can I chart? So what do I think about? I'm sure I'll end up going over it. You guys can watch the stream on my YouTube channel. That's currently where I am streaming right now. So the link is in my bio for all of that stuff. All right. So my bio is not going to get charted. We're going to leave that one alone because we don't talk about that one. All right. Well, I already have, I think we talked about this last night. And funny enough, I thought to myself today, I was like, I wonder if I should look into shorting NIA or DKNG from its $40 mark. It really didn't move that much. It did move down to 39.38, just making its way a little bit further down. Not a significant pullback, but it does have momentum to the downside, and the volume is picked up as it's moved down, which does show me that momentum is kind of hurtling in that direction. I know that earnings just came out. I don't know. I'd like to actually look a little bit deeper into those financials, but all that being said, this looks as if it is your standard Head and Shoulders. Now, the one thing that I'll warn you about Head and Shoulders on the daily is any type of positive news will blow this pattern out. And the reason why I say that is Amazon had a Head and Shoulders, and you can see how well that went. Not quite, but go. So this one actually filled its gap entirely, and the wicks on Amazon are getting gnarly too. But DKNG kind of emulating that same energy here, but just looking at some levels that you're currently at. So you can see kind of the top right over here. So right here, that's kind of where we're sitting currently. I could only imagine seeing it back down to, it looks like $38. If it continues down here, and I'm probably going to need to take a look at the hourly. All right, so this is multiple time frame analysis, of course. Mm, So this is kind of one of those situations where I'm going to go back to regular hours. There we go. Okay. So if you exclude that, kind of have that set up here. I'm trying not to be biased or have any confirmation bias here. 2 hour to get a cleaner look. Okay. So this would be speculatively, and you do have a gap at $48.14. So let's look at this from both sides of the coin. I would say with, I guess you could say not necessarily slowing momentum, but you can tell on DKNG at the moment that it is losing a little bit of momentum. I think it picked up a little bit off of this level here, breaking 40. But then as you get down to the 39.30s and 39 yeah, the 39.30s, you kind of hold your ground. And so looking at this, it does kind of look like a falling wedge, which tends to be a reversal pattern. So in this situation, I would kind of make it as simple as possible. And I would look at the level that you broke, right? The ceiling becomes the floor. I'd like to see it break to the upside and get back above 40 if this pattern is going to work out. Now, I'm going to throw my EMAs back on because I'd like to kind of see how those are moving as well in tandem. Let's see if we have a momentum indicator. So yeah, so you can even see here, my momentum indicator to the downside is starting to thin a little bit. Let's go to the daily, take a look back. Okay, so you tried to flip here, and it does look like you've kind of moved back down. Now, this doesn't really mean much of anything because the ribbon, although it is extended, can easily pull off one of these. You can see it picks up, but then also thins right back out. So I think you're at a really, really pivotal level where either you hold this falling wedge and you can reverse from here and potentially null out this setup and go fill the gap to $48, which is also your supply zone above you. If you could do that, then that would likely happen probably tomorrow. If you don't, unfortunately, if you move any lower, you're going to move down to the $38 level. Now, a long wick or like an hourly wick, if you drop down there and then V shape off of this $38 mark, then you can still hold this pattern. That pattern is still valid because it is on a higher time frame, and it's really about how the candle closes in this situation. So in this regard, it's kind of neutral, and that's kind of how I'd approach it. Um, especially with a reversal pattern on a lower time frame, which could just be a relief bounce before you ultimately fall, because you have moved so far to the downside. So it could even be that you're going to retest 48 or retest the level that you broke on the higher time frame and then finally move to the downside, which of course your point of control is right here around $50. So um, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that one. Uh let's see. Interesting setup. Contradictory patterns. Looking fire. All right. How's it going, y'all? You guys are more than welcome to hit the link in the bio. Hop on our YouTube channel. Towards the end of this live, I will go over and answer some questions here. But at the moment, I'm just talking to my Discord, and the YouTube premium members are allowed to leave requests. So, um, what do you mean? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I saw that. SoFi. Yeah, we'll talk about this in a little bit because I saw an article and I ought to share it, and it was just talking about how. So he basically said how investors or big CEOs, hedge firms, all that other stuff, they know, and you're seeing a lot of people sell, and I'm starting to think it's not just for tax purposes. Starting to really think that investors are lagging, and that potentially there could be some type of impending pullback coming soon. So we'll see. Anyway, leave my opinions out of it. So Funko is the next one that we have here. All right. So you have filled your daily gap. That's cool. Um, you rejected your most recent point of control, which is pretty much this entire zone, right? So this is kind of the moment of truth here. Um, Gapping up and then filling your gap is kind of inevitable. But if you look at it, maybe even from a lower time frame perspective, it has a bit of a flag, right? So you have a flagpole, a little bit of an extended flag, but regardless, you're still bouncing at what we would say the 50% mark of that move, from the bottom to the top. You basically retrace 50%. So getting back above 1835, I have and I like to use the hourly to, let me see. So let me go back to the daily. Yeah, so I would call it here, just because this is a seemingly the level that we have broken. So I would call it 1850, 1865. That's kind of where we need to make our way back up to. Currently, you can see that the majority of the volume or strength is above you. So getting back above these levels, of course, we have Christmas sentiment, big gifts, Funko goes hand in hand. Also, they have NFT, maybe even virtual reality. The space is, coming soon. So, all that being said, that could add to their sentiment. I have no idea how their earnings went on Funko. Um, but all that being said, you need to make a decent move to the upside here. Fill this wick to 1850, and then get past that 1850. Above 1850, $19. You can see it right there. That's the level that you lost. You lost $19, and you immediately started making your way down to that point of control, which is at 1835. So 1835, 18. There's a range 1850 to 1860. We can get above there. We need to see more volume. So you're seeing a low volume bounce, and you also have almost a TTM divergence. So you actually have a rollover, right? And you've lost momentum. So it's a really weird setup at the moment. You still have the whole ribbon here kind of flashing green, but losing momentum. You can see the actual ribbon has thinned, and that's what that indicator is used for. So um, in my opinion, it doesn't look great as far as strength at the moment, but that could change. as we approach the holiday season. So I would also say it's worth marking out this zone and its range. So looks like a bit of correction there. So you actually broke down, retested, and then gapped up. So yeah, it's pretty pivotal that and it's funny enough, you actually bounced off of your daily 200-day EMA. So point of control very clearly. Look at that 1865. So all right, Jamia. So this one, I took a little gamble. This is actually right around the level. This is hot garbage right here. Hot, boiling, liquefied garbage at the moment. Just as far as price action, volatility, sentiment, JB has just been kind of a nightmare. I've been looking forward to this earnings, hoping that we see some type of movement, but even so it takes a lot of volatility oftentimes to create, certain patterns, and the width or strength or volatility of those patterns has a lot to do with the stock. This thing could hardly muster out a little like triangle or a little wedge. It literally is just sitting flat at its point of control. This is literally right where I really added into my Jamia position last year at the exact same time. It was literally right around November 19th. Yeah, that's crazy. So literally at the exact same time. But this one is it's basically approaching this crucial, it's sat at this crucial level. And this is again $17. So look at where the volume profile is currently at. That volume profile is showing that most of the strength is at $17.50. $17.50. So that is likely, if we lose that level on earnings, you're more than likely going to gap down, and it's going to hurt, probably to $15. That would be my first initial level that I would anticipate seeing Jamia at. And I can go and mark that right here. And you can kind of go and look back here and see right there, when we gap down off of the first initial earnings here, that's where you initially open up. So that's where I would anticipate seeing Jamia. Now, for a positive move to the upside, if something happens, please, I beg Jamia to please get bought by freaking Amazon. Like, come on, Jeff, you can do it. Put your back into it. Sorry, if you don't know what that song is, then that just sounds ridiculous. But seriously, Jeff needs to get his shit together, buy Jamia, send it to $80, and so I can ask where's Lambo. What's up? I'll share my thoughts here in just a little bit, guys. I'm finishing up finishing up with my Discord and my YouTube. So that's YouTube, or that's YouTube. That's Jamie there for you. And let's take a look at Ford. What? Oh, bro, that confused me for a hot second. I was lost. All right, so good reversal today, especially with the market conditions that you were faced. I was actually really impressed with Ford's movement, but again, we need to see more volume. We need to see more strength. And so one of the things that I do not like is oftentimes you'll see when we get near the ribbon, if you cross underneath it, right here, you'll end up moving to the downside. So when we get near it, it's not really a preferred move for me. You can consider today a decent move for Ford getting back up into, I think it actually tapped almost $20 today. Yeah, just under $20, and sat there right at 1985. That's kind of where you close the day. And that's actually where the body of the previous candle right here was stopped out as well. So it's pretty simple. Right here, we have two levels above you. You have $20. So you need to get back up above today and yesterday's high and get into that $20 level. Now, I have talked about the the weekly outlook, right? Where now this is totally likely, and one of the reasons I'm saying this, so look at this weekly candle, right? This weekly candle is normally going to signify a reversal. Now, a reversal to where? The question is probably, or the answer is always going to be your previous level that you broke out from. Breakout, retest. It can happen on the weekly too. So if we cannot fill this wick to $20.55, more than likely below $19.15, you will likely see a pullback. And I think I had it marked out at 1850, which is 50% of this candle here. And that's kind of initially where I'd be watching for a bounce. If you don't, then there's always the potential that you go back and go back out to the weekly, right? And we mark this level out. So you can see across the board, a breakout retest, you can either A, tap off of 1850, or B, hit $18 flat. And when you do bounce off of that level, that's where I would like to start building. We need to make a new level there and then move to the upside with the first initial target being $22.50. Crypto's crashing. Ooh. No way. Sorry, improv. It's not crashing. My gosh. Were you here around March? You would have had a heart attack. It's not crashing. It's holding up. I don't know. Who am I? Anyway, let's get back to the stocks. So we've got Chewy. 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 Okay, so Chewy, stubborn. Market conditions. Momentum slowing down. We're at the daily 200-day EMA, 4-hour time frame. Not looking that great either. So Chewy, shoulder, maybe head, and shoulder. Point of control, $75. We're underneath it. So below 70 right now, 74.50. Tomorrow, it's below 74. So below 74, 72. So look at this bottom right here, right? I'd watch it to basically $73. And if you get down there with some force and volume, then more than likely Chewy is going to go and retest this bottom supply, right? So that would probably be around $68. Now, on the flip side, right? So, and this is, I don't know if this is actually going to work, but we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so there is always this, right? Because we don't want to, if we don't know, we got to admit that we don't know, and we all have to look at all different possibilities, right? So, yes, you can have both. I can see a potential head and shoulders because of the random spike or the large pop here. It's definitely credible. You actually do have this initial shoulder, and it looks like bears try and set up and push this lower. You can see we break that level, and immediately they get squeezed out, right? Now we're back up against resistance. It may be that we go and pull back and hit that $73 level. And from there, right? If this does end up being a shoulder, then we will flush that level or break that level and drop down to $68. If we do not, and we can end up breaking to the upside or bouncing, which we would like to do. So tomorrow we drop, we see 73. 73 leads us to a bounce. Point of control, 75 again. more than likely see at least a breakout or retest there, and then another stab at resistance, 75, 75. And then from there, you have that pennant or that triangle setup, and you basically can take it from there. So how's that look, guys? What do you think? So this is going to be a part of. I'm thinking that I may put this together in a booklet. So that's what I'm thinking. But it'll be in the Discord. But this is just one of the. I just wanted to show that off real quick because I got ADHD. If you guys are typing in live trading chat, I hope I haven't missed anything. I can't. Oh, Manny, y'all talking about Dragon Ball Z in here. Y'all, let me have the chat for a little bit. Por favor. Hold on. All right. Well, that's what I got for Chewy right now. So, yeah, you're right. All right. I'm going to add off topic back here in a minute. All right. But it's going to be at the bottom of the chat. Yo, what? All right, let's keep it rolling, guys. I'm sorry. All right. So anyway, Chewy knocked that one out. Hopefully, that one helps. I'm gonna pick one of them and keep moving, and then I'll wrap back around. All right, so ATVI. I have an inkling about this one above set now. I don't like the finish here, but you can see right there, you end up getting this like almost identical doji. You do see momentum shifting to the upside. If you take a step out here to the daily, you are going to be met. Now, this is just how it goes, but I think that ATVI could be a pretty fun play. At the moment, 72.35. That's where I would likely, I think ATVI is likely to go. Now, obviously, the first reason is going to be because that's the initial level that we broke, or that we bounced off of previously, 72.35. So that would be the initial. Now, the gap, yes, the gap finishes all the way at $77. But you guys know my rule of thumb is 50% of the gap, and usually that's going to be where I start to look to scale out, especially if it's on a company that did not do well. So a lot of the times you'll finish half the gap, and then you'll get a pullback, or it depends on the momentum, but we'll take a look at that as it comes. So on ascending, can we just set an alert when it breaks the upper and lower band? You could, yeah, you could, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So on ascending triangle, right? So this is what you could do. This is gonna be terrible, but like say you have an ascending triangle, right? So like that. I could set an alert on this line, right? And have it so it never goes off. So if a candle, the price touches it, that means the initial breakout and the retest will both give you alerts. So Zoom, you said? It's got to be on the 5-minute. You talking about the 5-minute? I don't know why I didn't use a flat. Hmm. Hourly. Am I missing? Oh my God, what just happened here? All right. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah. Got you. Okay, cool. Yeah. Swappy, are you not in the Discord? Yeah, that was a good setup. Sorry. I was answering a question. Okay. All right. Anyway, ATVI hourly time frame 70 50, 70 65. We need to break above it in order to go and hit that 50% mark of the gap. At the moment, hourly and everything looks good, but of course, we need market cooperation. This is actually one that I'm going to be watching tomorrow as well. If we gap up, I'm likely not going to touch it until or I'll play the bounce on ATVI, because if it gaps up, I would probably try and play the gap fill. But at the moment, still has that gap wide open. Looks good so far. So Fubo. All right, so Fubo, unfortunately, this one is starting to show signs of a little bit of weakness. It does have a wedge pattern on the 5 right there. Okay, and that's sitting on top of, I don't think this is a channel, but it's sitting on top of this point of control, and that point of control is right around 25.50. Take a step out, hourly time frame. Yes, we did have the falling wedge, and of course this was speculative. You also have Roku in the exact same setup. I still think that if we can just hold 24.50, that's the goal. Hold 24.50 here. The hourly candle here is weak as hell. So if something, please, like, like one of the analysts just gives it an upgrade, or anything like that, I think that you could immediately see a pop back up, and my price target is 25.35, right above you, the same level that you broke. And I'll mark that out for you. So I do it's kind of at that pivotal level at the moment, where if it breaks below that line, I would expect it to at least revisit $24 even. um And then again to the upside, the 20-day EMA on the hourly, and then 25.25. So that's Fubo. And that's obviously, we have a big old gap on Fubo to the upside. I'd love to play it. I'm hoping to see some price target upgrades on it. All right, Invax. Oh, shoot. I actually did Nvidia. All right. Interesting setup. Wow, really, really cool setup actually. So let's go to the daily, and we'll go down to that hourly time frame here in just a moment. Um, So unfortunately, these are weak candles. They're not really there's not much strength here on these candles. And on the hourly time frame or the daily time frame, it does look like most of your gaps on at least those time frames have been filled. If you go and step out to the hourly, you do see that there is a gap that has yet to be filled. You did tap that previous day's low, but you've left just a tiny bit of the gap to 178.60. And then you also have another little tiny gap right above you. And that one's going to be starting, it looks like, at 188 and then closing at 191. Yeah, 198, 191, 25. Got to, um, think this is the story. I will be with you guys. If you guys are digging the stream, make sure to leave a like. If you guys, yeah, if you guys make sure to leave some likes, and I'll hang out with you guys once I get done with the Discord and answer a few questions before I go to bed. I do occasionally yes sell options. So, whole ribbon indicator. Yep. Look up in silico on TradingView. All right. So the next one that I have on my list is TECL. I know who. Yeah. Okay. That's Broly. Broly. Hold on a second. So this is kind of an ascending triangle set up at the moment. The daily actually looks really cool at the moment, but we have seen setups similar, like here. And so I would say at the moment, especially with what we heard today, you would have expected a little bit of a stronger pullback. But at the moment, if I'm looking at the hourly, you actually are kind of curled up. And I swung Microsoft. So you're kind of curled up and testing, you end of the day testing the level that you broke, 78.55. So it's going to be a matter of breaking back up and retesting 80 here. So you may end up seeing another couple moves here back up to 80.25, at least in the meantime. Now, looking at the daily time frame, I'd actually like to go ahead and add an RSI here. I know people use stochastics, but wow. So on this RSI here, there's definitely still room to bounce and pop back up. Um, and it does look like this is right around the area on the RSI when it tends to rebound. So all that being said, hopefully a bounce and a push up on tech stocks tomorrow. Now we have a lot of data, and that's one thing I want everybody to keep in mind right now is we've got a lot of data coming in this week that could potentially pull the markets back. So that's something to keep in mind, and that's not something that we can totally predict. So all that being said, at the moment the setup is good, but remember that these candles right here can also be a bear flag. You could reverse out of this and still go tap 77 bucks. So, all right. PLTR, Ollie. All right. So another example of what weak candles unfortunately look like, and I think that PLTR just might make the weakest little, run up to go fill this small daily gap above it. There is a gap of above that one of $26, all the way to 26.10. But that can remain unfilled for forever until this stock bounces back up. At the moment, I, and I think I've seen other people call out a potential head and shoulders. It's a bit of a stretch. with the shoulder here and the head here and the shoulder there. But at this point, you would need to go and retest 23.87, or 20, almost $24. And then if you end up getting a rejection there, I could only guess that we're going to see PLTR where it usually pulls back to, and that's going to be $21. So that's the downside. Now to the upside, if you can, and I'm telling you, you got a lot ahead of you to get back up. You need some type of news. You just came off of earnings. And again, if you look at the hourly time frame, look at these candles. So you make an initial pop. First of all, you have a gap. So there is strength there in some regards, but at the same time, there's still a little bit of weakness. So you need to get past this 2350. Again, you actually have an hourly gap. The hourly gap spans from 2362 to 2425. Okay, so all that being said, you could even test this gap before it's all said and done and then reject from there. But yeah, these show strength in some regards because you are running against poor market conditions, but then at the same time, you don't even go and fill this initial wick. So that's, in my opinion, PLTR could still go fill the gap underneath it that spans from $23 to $22.90. So, um, I am just charting here, talking to my Discord at the moment, but I will be talking to you guys here on the TikTok in just a little bit. So just finishing up with everybody else. I see your UTME, but please don't blow up the chat. It makes me kind of want to do it less, So not a yeah, I do. You can go hit the links in my bio. But yeah, I do. You can join us on YouTube though, if you'd like. The link is in my bio for the YouTube channel, so you guys can actually go and recap, um, and go look back at my analysis. So it's all live right now. Nice to come here when crypto is crashing. Yeah, I wouldn't call it a crash quite yet, but I think it'll bounce faster than you think. Look at the bounce already. Yeah, you guys and your crashes. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you're okay. You're all right now. You're bouncing. If you go look at the daily time frame, looks about right. I would say maybe even a reversal tomorrow potentially. But anyway, keep stretching. CGC. Wow, that's a lot of volume. So that's about as high a volume as you've seen in a long time. This is textbook, baby. So this is unfortunately, my friends, a dark cloud cover. Now that's a temporary pullback, but a pullback nonetheless. And you have just the tiniest little gap here, literally the tiniest little gap here on the daily, but enough to probably attract sellers. All that being said, a dark cloud cover is going to be a gap up and open, right? So you gap up and then you lose 50% of the previous day's gains. And if you look at CGC, that's exactly what we've done. So more than likely, you're going to go and hit $14. After $14, you have another level at $13.55. Now the point of control is right around there at $13.40. Okay, so it's where it's holding currently. So in order to see a reversal, that's kind of what I would be looking for, is a bounce somewhere around there. But otherwise, you had earnings and you've moved up, but now you're seeing signs of a reversal where you're getting some of the highest volume that you've had out of the entire push after earnings. And that's alarming because if the high volume comes in on a pullback, that means it's where the sentiment lies. So Moderna. Aren't they waiting for emergency authorization? So, with any vaccine stock or medical pharmaceutical stock, I don't care if it's Moderna or anything else, it's normally going to be news all the time. It's everything. Uh, it doesn't care about anything else. Period. Yeah, let's go down to the hourly. Let's see what's happening. Yeah, not much. Okay, so let's sorry. This is one that's probably going to break range with a quickness based on some type of news catalyst. Now, you could speculate, and it's a little bit more speculative than I usually am, but you could speculate that you're forming some type of wedge, right? Inside of this pattern, but it's too early to tell. You haven't even made your first wave. So, in my opinion, with the 50-day, you could see 245. If you reject 245, expect a pullback, probably back down to 215, maybe even just 222, or excuse me, 225. Now, again, I'm not a Moderna kind of guy. That's not ever been a stock that I've ever really played. I've watched it come and go, and I've been totally okay with it. It's just not my stock. And if that keeps me from making money on just this stock in particular, I'm okay with it. But 250 is the break in range here. So above 250, you have a great gap. The gap spans to 278.62. And you could expect even just half of that, which is 265, to potentially get filled. Now, all that being said, um, this is where we just make it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't look for it. We have no volume, right? So we place no judgment. We are in range, so we just wait. Is it news that it needs? Probably. Do we have our levels marked out and alerts set on those levels? We should. And if we do, then we should be prepared. And you can set cascading alerts like 240, right? So 240 above you, that's going to be, or 241, excuse me. So 241, uh 75, excuse me, 241.75. Then you have looks like 245 flat even. And then you even have the wick fill to 252 50 until you go and you fill that entirety of the gap. So setting alerts to both the up and the downside is going to be pretty essential. So yeah, swappy definitely. Is it bad that I tend to trade the same stock every day? Is it most profitable for the most part? Low key makes me comfortable, but I don't want to keep doing it if it is harmful in the long run. The stock is Neo. I trade it upside and downside. If it has volatility, trade it. But at some point you're going to hit a low or a high and it's going to stop moving in the way that you want it, and you're going to have to set a range and wait, or go and, I mean, if you can set up strategies, I mean, shit, you could set up a strategy to sell calls, if you wanted to. So, you could sell premiums or do something like that. How's it going? Uh, all of this is recorded on YouTube. The link is in my bio right now. So I am live every morning on Discord, of course, and YouTube. So you guys can join me at 8:30 Eastern time. Link is in the bio. And I usually will always tweet out the news early in the morning, as well as my link and when I will go live. So what's up, Coleman? How's it going, everybody? If you guys make sure to hit that like button, I will join you guys as soon as I get off this live with my Discord, and we'll talk. So, um, yeah. So V3, let me show you guys. I'm trying to think of an example. And this is the hourly, but mind you, so look at the daily. We have yet to lose. We actually bounced off of 221.15. That is a level. Or excuse me, it was actually 220, 222.50. But we bounced off 220, 250. So we could even just go and hit that top, that 247, where the 9-day moving average is likely going to be there to meet us. But right now, these candles show strength in neither direction. So one false move and we drop right back down to the lows on Moderna. So, but yeah, and Moderna and most of these stocks just are kind of a nightmare to hold long. Obviously, anybody in here obviously did great, but so far here trading Moderna has been a gappy affair. So, um, yeah, the tightest stop loss. Had them recently, lost a lot of value. All right, so let's keep it moving. Yeah, I'm unfortunately just staring at the live request chart right now, so I'm not quite sure if that looks really, really interesting right here because I think it is right. So it is. So it's just a downtrend that you broke, held, and then fell back underneath. Okay, so it's kind of irrelevant at this point. So we'll get rid of it. Now this one's like Moderna, has a gap. All right, so it's pretty obvious, has a gap to fill. Hourly time frame, that's probably likely going to get stopped out somewhere around 267.50. And you actually have a gap even higher than that. You have a gap all the way at 286.86 and 295 as well. At the moment, I don't want to. It's a little bit too soon, but at the moment you're going up against and you need to break 250, 255. It's that simple. I have a level right above that based off of this previous what would now be your demand. That's going to be I have it as no, that's right. Yeah, so 258.50 would be that level that I'd be looking for above that. So above this with good volume, of course, above this 253, the first initial level would be 258. And then of course the 200-day EMA on the hourly is always a formidable moving average. And so that would be the first initial target, which would be 263.85, which lines up with that near gap fill. So all right. We're waiting for emergency authorization. But man, this has been a absolute pigsty of a chart. That's your dynamic resistance. All right, so you guys hit me with the pharmaceutical stocks 3 in a row. It's probably my weakest trading strong. I'm not a pharmaceutical stock guy, obviously. So right up against looks like 84.50 wick body currently sitting here. You're holding this level, which obviously that's good. So we need to get, in order to even go and fill 50% of that gap, which I would likely mark around $85.75, lines up with my hold ribbon indicator. You need to go ahead and you need to break above 84.35. You need a catalyst, and likely that there is pending news on Merck, which could likely go and send it into that gap. So I like Merck here, as long as it continues to hold its level. But likely if you fall below $83, you're going to make your way down to the point of control, which would have you breaking the dynamic resistance. But of course, that can be corrected or changed. Okay. Yeah. So that gap below you, no volume. So it's just waiting. That's kind of what it appears to, it just appears to be trading in place as it awaits, the next round of news. So, so Lucid, I can't tell if this is just going to be a straight up double top or a breakout retest. So if you see this level here, right, you get a breakout, almost a retest there. A lot of the times, now these wicks are a little gnarly there, but a lot of times these bodies, I think it's called like three white soldiers. There's a ton of patterns, but oftentimes this right here will line up for a potential reversal. So watch it back above $46 tomorrow. I think you'll see the initial reaction to the news. 4 hour though, and all that, it's not looking really good. You definitely didn't want to finish that way, in my opinion, especially with this long wick. But of course, we're going to have to see how investors react. And being up early tomorrow morning is probably going to be a crucial part of that as well. So, but yeah, so far Lucid has multitude of different possibilities at the moment. And that being said, tomorrow morning, if you gap up and you're anywhere around 46.85, you could just go straight for it, and go for $50, because I believe on the daily, the gap fills at $50.50. So it could set you up to go and fill that gap to the upside. But at the same time, um, yeah, at the same time, earnings can throw a cork in it. So, all right. So everybody and their mother knows about Pinterest right now. The gap doesn't fill until 50 or start. We don't even get to the gap until 5140, 5150. So that's the 50-day EMA. That's where we need to go and pop up to. So I think it's almost not guaranteed, but I think we're highly likely to, with market conditions in our favor, at least go and hit 49. Now I think we finished the day at around $48 flat, and I do think that you actually were like 1 cent away from $49. If you go to the hourly time frame here, it's kind of a flag. So you could go and make a little bit of a lower low here. But you would want to go ahead, even if you do slump a little bit, you could even go and retest $47 and still go and pop your way out. So Pinterest does potentially have the flag set up that would lead it to hitting that potential gap fill. So Alex. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I apologize. Sorry. Um, Swappy. Oh, I already did mRNA. Okay, cool. Did you see that analysis? I'm sorry. You posted that in the live trading chat. Oh, the chair. My chair. Yeah, this chair is nice. I've already link in my bio. Go to my YouTube channel. That's where it's at. Yeah, they did. They could have also, but Lucid has also ran up, so they could already be priced in. Yeah, of course. Oh, excuse me. Well, I've seen better setups. I can tell you that much. All right. So I'd like to hope that this is not breakdown retest. So 9-day moving average, bodies of those candles right there. You could go and retest $72. If you reject 72, you're likely going to continue to the downside. The daily here, you're right there. So you're right there at that level. You close below $70 or open up a new candle below 70 with momentum to the downside. You have a gap to fill below you at 67.23 all the way to $66, which would likely be an attractive target to the bears. So that's my opinion on calcs. Yeah, you've had a great run. I think it's probably about time for a little pullback. JP Morgan sues Tesla for 162 million over unpaid warrants. Oh shit. Maybe that's why we're taking profit. Elon is about to leave America. That's probably not great. No. All right. What do you guys want me to look at? I'm gonna take a few. I guess I'll just stay on here too, so that way these extra ones get charted as well. All right, I'm just gonna chart the first one that I see. And 1, 2, 3. PayPal. All right. All right. So PayPal, stupid. You made a neutral candle with a gap underneath you. That's not great. Guys, it's gonna be simple. This is a simple method of finding an entry and exit sometimes, right? So what we can do is we can move that line to the wick, right? That's gonna be 210. That's PayPal. We can move this wick here. That is 214.35. Now, one way we could identify targets easily, we could go pull up our pivot point. Now, I really love it when you have a confluence where multiple, in this case, multiple indicators are running into each other, confirming a level. And so right now we have 218.45 on PayPal to the upside, which just happens to be, y'all. Guess what I'm about to say? The 50% mark of the gap. So I don't make these things up. I just tell you guys what I see. And that's essentially what I see there. So 2018.45 upside. Now downside, let's go. Yeah, no problem. Following along with me, downtrend to continue to me. Are you talking about on PayPal? Yeah, so a neutral candle hanging out above a gap. Usually you'd want to see a gap and go, not a gap and be dumb. And so right now you kind of got a 214.35 just slap it. You just didn't move anywhere. Now, of course, the RSI is oversold. You could even tap that level and continue your downtrend from there. That's totally a possibility because you're already in the gap or you're already at the gap. You've already tapped into the gap. But again, below you, you left that kind of unattended. It looks like hourly time frame. I had this one marked out rather well. So if you climb back into, I would say below 210. So I already have this one marked out. So below 210, I've got 20. Where are we at? 209.50. Looks like that's the top right there. You kind of wick off of it. And then below that, we've got 208.22, where you do get a breakout and a retest here. So it's pretty much read and react. We break above 214, we move to the upside. We break below 210, we're likely going to move to the downside. Oh shit. What? PayPal is a terrible chart? Yeah, it's not a beautiful chart at all. But that's exactly what these candles are indecisiveness. So neutral. Well, not even neutral. It's not great. It's green. All right, let's pick another one. Disney. Just gonna try. Did we talk about this one last night? Yeah, we did. We sure did. All right, you reinitiated the rollover. So let's start on the daily again. There it was, and maybe no, you did. You filled it. So we did exactly what I was figuring we're gonna do, but we maybe have a little bit goes 257.36. You might see a leg down there, but you did have a like the tiniest little bit of a gap there. So that being said, back to 200 EMA. You know what? Hold on. Whoops. I see my wick. I this wick lined up with my volume and I couldn't see it. Back to the 200-day EMA. What do you think about a retest? Even on the weekly, we get multiple retests. I don't know. This candle here, though. Look at the candle here on the. Well, we got to finish moving this candle here. So I think a relief bounce. I don't think we fall straight through. So I think seeing an hourly, potentially an hourly falling wedge could be just this. So, okay, so this is my rule of thumb. Falling wedges, rising wedges, fat wedges, skinny wedges, doesn't matter what the wedge looks like, 50% of that wedge. So you can measure it. So from the top to the bottom, percentage wise, 50% eyeballing that, it's going to be around 162 to 163. That's where I expect it. For me, a rising wedge doesn't mean a total trend reversal. A lot of the times it just means consolidated price action before a pullback. And so a lot of the times you have a lot of profit taking and low volume run up, and then it leads to that inevitable pullback. So with Disney, even just a simple retest or a pullback is likely. So okay. Yeah, with the current trend that we're on, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, so maybe just a little relief bounce. But of course, anywhere below 157, 70, the current low of day, you could see a little bit of a leg down there. So Rolly is thinking that we chop and fade this week, and I have to agree with him, but we'll see what happens. Could be back on the same old bullshit. Oh no. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, I use Fibonacci sometimes. I might be trading long, yeah. All right. What are we looking at? All right. Is that the are those dots? Is that super trend? What is that? What are those? The little dots. Bam. Very cool. So almost like a whole ribbon indicator, but its own. That's pretty cool. You'll have to explain that one a little bit to me. All right. So unfortunately, black fungus mushrooms just aren't that profitable right now on FAMI. I think maybe on a technical basis, you might end up seeing something, but this is you actually have a clean downtrend. That's the one nice thing. Looks like you've got a gnarly wedge here happening on the daily time frame. So that being said, first of all, FAMI may not be the time, right? To just may not be. I don't know. I think at this point, fundamentals are key. You have to really dig into the fundamentals. What are they doing? Why are they doing it? How's their cash? How strong is their business model? Who runs this fucking company? Are they confident? Do they do things well? So that's what you want to look at. So uh, yeah, in my opinion, right now you've got a wedge. Wedges can go either way. So stop loss or pullback likely will happen below $30. Below $30, you could potentially expect a pullback to the supply or somewhere around 25 cents. And then to the flip side or to the upside, anywhere above 30, 37 or let me go and mark out this. Hold on one second. FAMI. Family Ding Dong. Yeah, this is disgusting. It's hard to chart this shit. I'm not gonna lie. 35 cents maybe. It looks like 37 cents. This is actually kind of a tough one to find. But of course, the most obvious one would be right here. And that's going to be looks like 45 cents essentially. Or would be where you would like to see a move to the upside. So I don't really know too much more. I know that they're in the mushroom. I actually have shares in my account for no reason other than I left some runners that turned into I forgot about them. So so they just sit in there and remind me um, about mushrooms. So alrighty. Well, did I do? I did ATVI. Didn't I 922? I did, yeah, I did do ATVI, Colton. If you go back up to the top, it's on YouTube, so you can go and watch it on YouTube if you want to recap that. All right. Oof, Neo. So man, if you ever want to see what a gnarly rejection, that just looks really bad. Now, Lee Auto ended up getting a price target upgrade, but man, that looks really, really bad. So you're sitting on top of that 200 EMA, and then look at that point of control that just moved right there to 44.55. You just can't seem to make your way up past that after earnings. You're losing momentum here. The RSI right now is just kind of showing weakness as well, kind of rejecting that overbought. Volume is abysmal. There's nothing there. So honestly, uh, unless something changes and we get a major bounce off of, I would say 40, you need to hold 40, but a major bounce off of 40, and then there's even 39.50. The 200-day EMA is where I'd like to see a bounce for Neo. Otherwise, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, there's a tiny, tiny little gap. And that gap will close at $36.45. Excuse me, let me be a little bit more exact. $36.60 is likely where you would see it pull back to. So this is not what you want to see on a bull run. You've also just crossed below that whole ribbon indicator. I'll short Neo below $40. And then expect a bounce at 39 for a retest. So you can take it below 39, or you can just take a long contract and just wait. So Microsoft. So why did I swing Microsoft? It's a short play, by the way. We're not going to the moon as far as I'm concerned. So we were kind of digging up against, we have a small lower time frame support, right? Pretty nice and clean. We're as you can see right here, this is here, let me turn off extended hours. So if anything, at this point, we are retesting this same, we're curling off the support, but retesting the very same support that we lost, or very same level that we lost. That's 336. So I'm expecting another tap of 338.75. That's where I'm expecting Microsoft to go. Now, if we see any type of a slight rebound from the Qs, maybe we even see a little bit of a breakout to the upside. Nothing crazy, but you could even just pop up and fake out and lose that floor. You are losing momentum. You are a little bit overbought, but there's just a little bit more that I was going to squeeze out of this one. And then I think we're getting close, guys. Black Friday, historically, we always fall. And trust me, this week I have no problem shorting Microsoft into at least down into the 330s if it does reject. So short swing, I'd like to gap up. If we can gap up, hold the gap until open, I'll immediately take profit and short the dog shit out of that crap. So, excuse my language. Dorn, keep him busy, dude. Damn, Clorox. Oh shit. Yo, hold the fucking phone. Yo, Clorox. Why won't you shrink? Stop doing this. Oh, I saw it. All right, it's not pretty, but it's there. Shoulder, head, shoulder, or keep it simple, rounded bottom, but still has that inverse head and shoulders look. Consolidated, broke out, retest the neckline, and now breaking to the upside with, I think, a potential run into the 173 level. I think you're trading now at 170. So 173, I would say 172.35 and then 173 right after that. But that's where I see Clorox in the short term. On the daily, so on the daily, you actually have an earnings gap that you can potentially attack once you get to that 173 level. Got the 200-day EMA sitting here at 176. You've got okay volume, but you see rising momentum. RSI looks okay. You still got room to run. You can see a little bit further as well. And then that gap fill on Clorox is going to stop around 176 or 178.65. So this actually looks pretty good. I think I'm going to write that down. Um, they'll try and kill me. No, I'm just kidding. So Roku's dumb, but I still think that it should bounce. Um, I gotta be honest with you, I'm pretty uncertain about this. being a reversal here. Daily. Now, let me say this again. I think that Roku is a stock that I will be dollar cost averaging as long as market conditions remain. If we fall back on Turkey Day or Black Friday like we usually do, probably gonna buy the dip. Heavy, not heavy, but buy the dip. It cost dollar cost averaging because I think Roku. If you see the 250s or you see anything lower than this, it's probably going to end up being a really good dip buy. But right now you have a potential falling wedge. You are at a very pivotal level here for Roku, right? Literally right there. So if Roku falls, Roku's going to go to 255. So Roku could make just as good of a short as it could a long. And so anywhere below 270 is likely going to start the downside trend. But we also have, if I'm not mistaken, no, we don't. But again, falling wedges, no matter what the time frame, 50%. So that could be all the way to 285. So we'll see it above the point of control, 277.75. You have the 280 level, and then you have the 283, 285 right above it. So Tesla. All right, guys. So don't try and make sure we're not trying to force anything out of this stock right now because that's not going to work. But I will say, most buyers that I see right now are looking at buying Tesla or have been talking publicly about buying Tesla as soon as it went under $1,000. And that happened. You did get some serious dip buying there on Tesla. Now, again, it's a little early to tell, but a little bit of a falling wedge here. So now go back out, right? Point of control, if I'm not mistaken. There it is. $1,000 and 41 or 1041.55 is where Tesla needs to get to. You had a good bounce today. And you have a gap to fill to 1061. So those are all things that could potentially happen with the 50% retracement of the current pattern. I think the last price target is I would put 1075. Now, if the market conditions change, then maybe we see Tesla reverse and make its way up to the previous all-time highs. But that doesn't seem likely right now with the conditions that we're currently trading in. So if Tesla loses, and I'm going to go ahead and call it 970. Hold on. 975. More than likely you got a gap, and you're going to go fill that gap to 910. So add alert. If you're charting and not sending alerts, why are you charting? Why are you charting? I'm not going to do that. Sorry, guys. I'm busy. Hold on. All right. That's about it for me, guys. I'm about to hit the hay. I'm pretty tired. Want to go ahead, be up bright and early tomorrow morning again. We had a great day today. We were prepped and ready to go. So I'm looking at waking up early and have that same setup there. So anyway, thanks guys. YouTube, Discord. Let me go. I haven't looked at live trading chat, guys. Sorry. Are you like Roku? Oh shit. Yo, I didn't know I got disconnected. Damn, that's fucked up. I didn't know that. When did that happen? I don't even want to know. Anyway, you guys have a good night. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys later. This will be posted for you guys to recap. So, peace. All right.